Thanks for the support as a channel member, Ragey Peep. Today I bow to peer pressure, and despite being on a 40-plus game unbeaten, running the league, being Champions League finalist, winning the German Cup last year, and not even conceding a goal yet this season, I don't think, or barely, I've decided to add a couple of extra attacking instructions to the tactic because that was all that was in the comments section yesterday. If this goes wrong, this is your fault, and I will be relaunching the Kev Told You So t-shirts. Hello and welcome to Club 5, part 13 of Non-League to Legend. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, we have a game away against PSV in the Champions League and away against Hamburg in the Bundesliga. As mentioned in the little intro there, we haven't yet conceded a league goal this season. Things going really rather well. The one blemish and the real reason I've added the attacking instructions is we played Hoffenheim and it was a very drab, uneventful 0-0 in a game that we can't afford to have too many of those because Dortmund will wake up at some point and decide to get hot on our tails. I have enjoyed the fact that we've not conceded a goal yet this season. It's weird having such a strong defensive team. It's not really my way, but we're unbeaten for more than a season now in Bundesliga. So if we carry on as we are, we might do an invincible season, which would be lovely, but we can't have too many more home draws where we can't manage to score a goal. Talking of goals, Salimi, of course, former Bayern player that we sold last year. Heleno, former Bayern player that we sold last year. They're both in the goals. Adema, remember we had him at Tottenham. Clearly, all these players that I've bought over the years, coming good. Yes, I realise I didn't buy him. I just sold him because I decided I didn't want him. But let's not get too bogged down in details. That's the route to madness. So this is the new look tactic. The two that have gone on to attacking instructions are Miguel's on the left-hand side as an inside forward on attack, which does make sense. Top scorer in Bundesliga last year, best player in Bundesliga last year. Let's get him doing a bit more attacking because so far for us, he's not scored a goal or played very well. So let's get him playing in the actual role he was playing for Dortmund last year as an inside forward on attack, covering the gap that he's going to leave by drifting in to support the striker. Marquez in midfield as the Mezzala is going to be the other guy who gets the new attacking instruction. So on the left-hand side, we've got Miguel's and Marquez attacking. On this side, we have Krajju or Dombrowski, depending on who it is. I'm happy leaving Gashi as a support player. It's actually been O'Hara in there quite a lot recently. And as you can see, O'Hara is having a lovely time playing as a winger on support. So I don't want to mess too much with that. Thorgerson's injured at the moment, which is why Antonio Carlos is in. I had been playing Gashi up front with O'Hara on the right-hand side, but we're mixing it up a little bit today because I know you all like Antonio Carlos. So I wanted you to get to see him play. So the attacking play from the right-hand side comes from Krajju and I guess Gashi, who's in an attacking position at least, and Lust will do box-to-box things. The other thing people were calling for is to push Vermonti further forward as a supporting deep line playmaker. I'm not going to do that. I like Vermonti just sitting in front of the back four, doing what Vermonti has done for me for about 5 years now, both here and at Tottenham. When we were at Spurs, Vargas wanted to be the more supporting defensive midfielder, but whenever Vermonti came in the team, he couldn't do it very well. But he is the best in the world at doing this, just sitting in front of a back four or a back two, because the fullbacks are pushing on constantly, sitting in front of that back two, just dictating the game, controlling the play. The man's averaging a 7.9 so far this season, playing in that role that we know he's the best in the world at. So we're just going to keep letting him sit there doing what Vermonti does. Especially because when he doesn't play as well, it's usually Tigges or Haman who go further forward, and they are centre-backs. So again, we don't want them pushing up into the midfield either. So I'm happy with this section of the pitch as it is. It's not conceded a goal yet this year, so the back six are doing something right. It's just trying to get a few more goals out of the front five in those games where they're not playing particularly well. Because even the games that we've been winning, we have had a little bit of a habit of leaving it very late. You can see there 75 minutes, 76, 88, 82, 93, 82, 88. We have been the kings of the late goal this season, and it's got us out of trouble a few times. So let's see if being a little bit more attacking means we can get a hold of these games by the scruff of the neck a little bit earlier. So we've got Ferron in goal. A back four of Thumb, Tigges, Banfalvi and Krajju. Vermonti at the base of the midfield. Marquez and Lust ahead of him. Miguel's, Carlos and Gashi are today's front three. O'Hara is there on the bench ready to come on if need be, as is Juanma Albert, or Albert. Our 17-year-old Spanish under-19 international. We turned down a £30 million offer from Dortmund for this guy in the summer. So he's got something about him. Let's see if he can. I mean, this is the opportunity with Thorgerson injured. If Carlos doesn't perform today, I know the obvious thing is Gashi back up front and O'Hara back in the team because O'Hara is amazing. But Albert's there as an option if we decide we want to use him. Right, we're favourites here. Go out, give the fans something to cheer for. It's the most attacking setup that I think I've put a team out doing. Certainly in FM20, we're playing an attacking instruction, 4 players on attacking instructions. We're basically playing a back two with a playmaker in front of him because the 2 fullbacks push on so far. They're basically extra wingers. And now we've got one of our central midfielders pushing right up with the strikers as well. So it is some very attacking stuff. It is going to leave us a little bit open at the back. But my theory is, and it seems to be a theory shared by most of you looking at the comment section, the theory is we are so good at the back. What a goal from Krajju. That's what I mean about him playing basically as a midfield player. That's our right back just sitting on the edge of the penalty area waiting to hit that, and hit it he does. We'll have a look at this as a replay before I continue my waffle. Miguel's does very well to keep the ball in, keep the move going. Thumb's right there, and it's one fullback crossing to the other. It's beautiful. What was I saying? I lost my train of thought because that goal went in. Never mind, eh? Conceding 0 goals all year is a little bit excessive. I could handle we're 8 games into the Bundesliga season. I could manage if we'd have conceded 3 goals but scored an extra 10. I think that would have been okay. Gashi makes it 2-0. It's a cross from Marquez, who's drifted out wide, taking advantage of the fact he's now an attacking Mazzala in the team again, which he was initially this time last year until I adjusted things a little bit. But getting out into those wide areas, cross comes over. Gashi is not missing from there. It's 2-0 on 23 minutes. We are well top of our group. That also contains Inter and Red Bull Salzburg. But we're going to win this group without any problem at all, I think. Carlos, lovely little bit of football there, combining with Krajju. Vermonti now plays it to Lust. Back to Vermonti. Lust again, Carlos, Gashi. Look at the space Krajju is in. He is screaming for the ball. And of course, playmaker Vermonti sees him. Krajju wins the penalty. That's why Vermonti is so important, because he's the man. He's basically watching the game from the same angle we are, whereas everyone else is down on the pitch. Vermonti's watching through a drone. The man is exceptional at that piece of play that he's just done there. And from the penalty, Marquez, first goal of the season for him, makes it 3-0, 27 minutes gone, and poor old PSV are coming up against one of the great European sides that, like I say, will dominate for years, with or without me. My exit strategy, I talked about it in the last episode. As far as I'm concerned, we're going to try and win everything this year, and then I really have my eye on the Barcelona job. Having had them beat us in the Champions League final last year and seeing how old their team is, it's perfect Kev coming in territory. And if we can win everything this year, knowing that Bayern will probably have to sell 2 or 3 players because of FFP, I've already got a plan. Pack up, head to Barcelona in the summer, take Vermonti with me, and then pick 2 others from what we've got knocking around here. Maybe bring Jair from Spurs, so we don't need to bring Dombrowski or Krajju. Krajju's won another penalty there. He's just absolutely tormenting their left back, dancing past everybody. Maybe take Gashi for the shirt sales. Maybe take O'Hara because he looks awesome. Thorgerson might be the man to come with us because of his goals. Perhaps we'll bring Antonio Carlos because he's everybody's favourite. But just take 2 or 3 players, plus Jair. We'll take him from Spurs. I'm already building a Barcelona team in my head for a job that I don't even know is going to be available yet. But I've just decided that's the one I want next. Marquez, another penalty, another goal, 4-0 on 34 minutes. And it seems, on first inspection, that being a little bit more attacking is leading to us scoring more goals. Now, that hasn't been scientifically proven yet. We'll have to do some more research. But early indications are that attacking more means more goals. Who would have thought? You also have to take it with a little bit of a pinch of salt, because PSV obviously not on the same level as like the top half of the Bundesliga. So it's not quite. I mean, if we were doing this against Inter, then I'd perhaps have something to sing and dance about. Against PSV, less so. But we've got Hamburg coming up next. Hamburg's always a big game. If we can tear Hamburg apart the way we're tearing PSV apart, then we can maybe start to believe that this is a system that we can use. Certainly against teams that aren't Dortmund or Barcelona or Manchester United, there's a very strong argument for dropping back to the more conservative version against those really big teams and playing a system that we know doesn't concede very many goals at all. But against teams that we should be dominating against, let's use our world-class attacking players to do world-class attacking things. Kryju is having the game of his life today, by the way. He's just put across on the head of Miguel's, and that's him drifting in, being the inside forward, doing his goals and stuff. Vermonti very much involved again. I love that man. I love him so much. I want him to be my assistant manager when he retires, because he will follow me everywhere. He is the one player that I'm going to take everywhere for the rest of his career and just build every team around, because I've never seen anyone do the things that he does the way he does them. I've got my own little Perlo in there, and it's brilliant. Right, we are under the cosh a little bit here, but we do manage to break free. It's with Gashi. He's got Kryju on the overlap on this right-hand side again, and Kryju's just going to skin this left back once again. They may as well just give up and let him run past them. Gashi now, I don't know if that's a cross or a shot. I don't know whose goal this is. If Miguel's touched that, it's probably been disallowed. It has gone down as Miguel's, and I think it will be disallowed. Has it? Yeah, goal disallowed. But I don't think Miguel's needs to touch that. I think that's going in from the initial cross that turned into a shot. Gashi is probably going to be a little bit upset with his teammate there, because he could have had his second goal of the game. Gashi's going to be going up front now anyway, because Carlos... I mean, a 7.6 isn't a bad performance, but it's not as good as everybody else. And I want to get O'Hara onto the pitch ASAP, because he, of all the players we've brought in the last year, he excites me the most, because he has magic in his feet, and it's like an actual attacking version of Jair, watching him just dance around players. And I have little excited moments fantasizing about having him and Jair on the same wing, and then I remember how good Kryju is and how good Dombrowski is and how good Gashi is, and we realise we've got a really good team here. Miguel's trying to grab himself his second of the game. We're still 5-0 up. There's half an hour left, and we are still relentlessly attacking. PSV have now had a shot. They missed. We've had 25 shots. I certainly think we are attacking quite well today. We're going to take off Thumb, and we are going to... You know what? We're not going to do that. We're going to bring Albert on. Gashi's going to get a rest. Albert's going to come on up front. He's a 17-year-old who's already capable of playing as a complete forward. I don't know about you, but that's always a little bit of a marker of a real top-quality player for me, because normally they don't develop into a complete forward until they're like 19, 20. Miguel's has just done brilliantly there. What a goal. From nothing, really. Miguel's has made that. I mean, you got to stand up and applaud. Let's have a little look at this again. So the goal kick... it's Kryju again involved, just lumps it over to Miguel's, who has no right to score from here, but just does very, very well. 6-0 now. And I want to see Albert get a goal, because I think he's going to be one of these players that we can develop and prove that we can develop young players as well. Kryju is a homegrown player, I think. I think he came through our youth system. Oh, no, he didn't. He came in from Bayer Leverkusen. But very young, because he's still only 24 years old. So he's effectively a Bayern player. I imagine he counts as homegrown at club. Right, what are we going to do for our final change? I would have liked to have brought Bartolek on, but he's not on the bench. So let's do what we were going to do before. Get some match fitness back into Dombrowski. Kryju can go over to play left back. And Dombrowski, who's recovering from injury, can have 10 minutes. Just easing himself back into football. Elite fullback for elite fullback. 3 elite fullbacks at one club. Oh, I'm having a good time at Bayern. Oh, it's so much fun. 6-0. Right, let's go do that to Hamburg, and then I'll believe that some of you might know what you're talking about tactically. Right, a couple of changes for the Hamburg game then. O'Hara does come back in for Carlos. Gashi goes back up front. Carlos dropping down to the bench. And, I mean, he wants to be an attacking one as well, doesn't he? We might have to give in and let him attack at some point. But right now, he's playing well enough in this role. So we don't want to overdo it with the attacking stuff. for now. And we've also brought Andre in for Lust as well, just really to rotate Lust out of the team, give him a little bit of a rest. Talking of rest, I don't understand why his match sharpness is as low as it is. I know I haven't played him a huge amount this season, but certainly while Thorgerson's been injured, he's been coming off the bench. He's started there. How on earth can his match sharpness, after featuring in the last 5 games, be 62%? That's just silly. Even Van der Hoek, who's returning from injury and fitness test not required, but full match fitness and sharpness should be monitored. His match sharpness is higher than Carlos's, and he's not played because he's been injured. I don't understand. Right, let's get into the game. Let's see how good we can be playing against a decent Bundesliga side with this crazy, overloaded attacking nonsense that you all want me doing. Oh, what has the world become? Carry on where we finished off our last match. That probably makes a lot of sense. Gashi has been looking good playing up front when he's been doing it recently. He wants to be an advanced forward rather than a complete forward, but we all know I am a big complete forward fan, so if a man can do complete forward, even if he might be better at something else, I'm going to get him to do complete forward, because complete forward is my favourite. Thumb loses out on the ball, and Vermonti's joined in that attack as well, so there's a little bit of an exposed back two here, as Hamburg race forward and Tigges is there to clear, but I can't blame that on the attacking instructions. It wasn't any of the players that I'd changed instruction on who left the gap behind them. But I would be very upset if the first time we do these attacking changes, we concede our first goal of the season in the league. I enjoy the longest running clean sheet in Bundesliga history, which we have got that record now. We picked that up like 2 games ago. Most games without conceding a goal or something along those lines. We've also got, I think we have the record for longest unbeaten run, and we had one. We did have the most consecutive victories record as well, I think. I don't know how we didn't win the league last year. Miguel shoots from range. He probably should have taken that a little bit further forward. He did well to skip past his man, but shooting from that far out just seems a little bit wasteful when he's got such a wealth of talent ahead of him that he could either play in or continue his run. Either would be better than just wastefully shooting from there. Vermonti now with the corner. He finds Gashi beautifully, but Gashi can't quite direct his header goalwards, and then that's pretty poor from Vermonti with the follow-up, just heading it to a Hamburg defender rather than taking his time and picking out another pass. With the way we know he could have done. But for whatever reason, he decided to rush a little bit. We're going to get assertive because we're not playing very well. I'm not happy with your performance. Get out there, sort your lives out. We want goals in this second half. I've just been talking about how great O'Hara is. I'm starting him, and we've not seen anything from him at all yet. He's not the only one, but he'd been a magician for those first 5 or 6 games of the season. Banfalvi plays it out to Kryju. Talking of magicians, he's charging down the right-hand side. Plenty of options for him. Crosses to one of them. It's Miguel's, and he heads over. Still not got a Bundesliga goal for Bayern, the top scorer in the division last year, and that was set up on a plate for him. There's no way he should be missing chances like that when we've just seen him scoring for fun in the Champions League. The Bundesliga is just clearly a different ball game for us at the moment. Despite us being top of it and dominating it, we're just not scoring goals in it very much. We'll bring on Van der Hoek. We'll make him a supporting winger, and we're going to make him attacking. We'll swap the two of them over and see what difference it makes. We are very overloaded attacking this side now, but what are you going to do, eh? We're going to bring on Lust as well. I'm tempted to bring on Carlos for Gashi, who's also not playing well, but we'll give that 5 or 10 minutes just to see if the changes we've already made make a difference, because Carlos for Gashi does weaken the team, but Carlos is more of a striker than Gashi is. He's got more goals in his career, although Gashi has more goals this season. And Gashi charging down the right-hand side, plays Miguel's in, who is fouled there, surely. Apparently not. In that case, he's missed another absolute sitter, because that was played into his path, and all he had to do was pass it into the back of the net. And he's just taken too long over it. Right. We are going to make that change that I talked about before. In fact, we're going to take off O'Hara, who's on a yellow card and not playing well. We'll bring Carlos on up front. Gashi would rather be that, so we'll go back to doing that. And Van der Hoek can now be the man who attacks. Remember, Van der Hoek, our top scorer last year. Why has that changed? Oh, because it's not gone through yet. The Wasp is back. Or it could be a fly. Van der Hoek with the free kick. And I thought Banfalvi was tucking that in at the far post. Banfalvi, by the way, scored a hat-trick in the Champions League. 2 headers from set pieces and a penalty. But he now has a hat-trick in his career to his name. O'Hara to Gashi. And there is the breakthrough. We've left it late again, 79 minutes. But there's Gashi's 10th goal of the season. He is our top scorer so far this year. O'Hara is the man who sets him up as well. So this has happened before the substitution has gone through. So I'm tempted to cancel that change. It will give me the option, won't it? And just leave O'Hara on because he's now mustered up an assist. Where does it gives me... No, apparently we don't get the option to not have the thing go through. Fair enough. Have we just scored again? My word. That was a bullet header from Tigges. How can that be offside? It was a set piece. How does he get offside from a free kick? Answer, wasn't. Surely. When that ball is played, he wasn't offside. They stopped play and put the line on well after the ball was played. I don't understand what that was disallowed for. Well, I know it was disallowed for offside, but I can't believe it was an offside. That's madness. Oh, Kryju should not be slide tackling there. That's a massive risk. And we have now conceded our first goal in the Bundesliga this season. It's come in the 87th minute, and I'm very unhappy about it. Kev told you so. Get the T-shirts out, boys and girls. Kryju, I don't know what he's thinking there. He does well to get the tackle in, but... we were then under an immense pressure from there. Let's get creative and try and grab a late winner. I guess if we grab a late winner, the T-shirts don't have to go on sale. Everything will be justified. Thumb plays it across to Vermonti, who's looking to pick out his man, finds Gashi. Kryju has space to burst in and cross. Carlos can't get the shot away. And we've still got 3 minutes left, and we've got, I think this is our throw in a very dangerous area. Not dangerous enough to give us a highlight, apparently, and the game is just going to end. And that's our second domestic draw in a row, and this is where it starts to become problematic, because although we are still on a huge unbeaten run, Dortmund are just plugging away and winning games, and we know they don't drop a lot of points. And we need to be watching our backs because we're only topped by 1 point now. And that's a game we definitely should have won. Right, we will be back tomorrow. No, we won't, because it's Saturday. We'll be back on Monday with probably the Inter game and then one of the games either side of it, either Leipzig or Freiburg. Where are Freiburg in the league? No, Leipzig's the more interesting. So we'll do Leipzig and Inter tomorrow, because that should... be a big league game, and hopefully, if we haven't already secured a Champions League knockout round, we'll do it there. And it's always fun to see us play against the big team away from home in a Champions League group. So Leipzig and Inter on Monday, and hopefully we can figure out how to just pinch this little dip in form in the bud. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos, and thank you very much for watching.